Wada 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 oh, wada wada wada. I ordered this thing, right? I just started it, but I've been watching this shit be promoted online. The the methyl, it helps like with look at the box right here. Brain, mood, heart, and nervous system. Cool, right? Check this out. I found this at my gig and shit. I was wondering, what is this like? Because it was sitting in the shelf. And I'm like, from what game does this come? So I'm looking at this shit, right? It says Tokyo. The game I never heard of, right? It's called Konami. But I said, you know what? I'm going to do what those tarot people be doing. And I'm going to read your future. No, I'm just kidding. Guess what? You're going to have, like, no, I don't know. This one's... This is a spell card. It has is a Stardust Dragon or Synchro Monster that lists Stardust Dragon in its type. I found this, you know what I mean? In a shelf. If it was in good condition, I probably would put it in one of those you know, one of those sleeves, I guess, you know? But it's not in good condition. And look at this one. Insector Dragonfly. What his does, once per turn, you can equip Insector Monster from your hand or GY to this card. And your level is increased by 3 with this card. So you know what happens? Your life, right? I'm talking about, let me do the tarot people thing. I'm talking to someone who's who's experienced a lot of rough times, and he's gonna increase by 3. All right, how about this one? Oh, the Magic Core Warrior of the Relics. So here, someone is gonna experience, right? Nobody can attack you. You're the chosen. You're the chosen one right here. You're the chosen. And nobody's gonna mess with you because you're the chosen. And you have some divine power. And yeah, so it's looking good for you. Let's see what else we can let's see what else we can find, right? All right. Stella. Oh man. So you got some spell power. See what came out of my card, my hand? Like it just came. This is a Exo Sister Stella. The spellcaster effect. So I'm talking to someone who can manipulate, spell, can put a spell on people. Speaking of which, right? Alright, I'm done with the tarot card reading, right? So I go to work, right? They're starting to get scared of me, cause like everything I say comes to happen, I'm not really a talkative person, but I start to talk to some coworkers, and I'm like, they've been talking about this pizza thing. I still haven't experienced, I like pizza, and I'm like, I still ain't experienced the pizza. What's up with the pizza, man, that this job supposedly offers and shit? Like, I had the donuts, I had the bagels, but where's the pizza? He's like, oh yeah, they have it, it's probably gonna happen soon, man, this and that. I can't wait for that. And then, nothing, I continue on. I go somewhere else. I'm talking to this other cat. And then, like, I don't know, like a few minutes later, guy comes in, hey, don't go to lunch. They're gonna order pizza for everybody. I'm like, oh yeah? And I think nothing of it. I'm talking to the guy and shit, right? But then I go back to the other guy who I was talking about the pizza to. He was like, yo, what the hell? You're like a prophet or something. That shit scared me because it came out on the radio. I don't have a radio, but he has a radio. Like one of those walkie-talkie joints. And he's like, yo, he heard it in the radio that they was going to order pizza. And as soon as he heard that shit, he thought about me and shit like that. He started looking at me different and shit. He was like, yo, everything you say, man, I'm going to believe, yo. They started getting spooked around me and shit. I'm like, it does happen. When I speak about something, it usually happens. And that's this one. I'm just making this up, by the way. Like I said, I found this. And this one's called The Magic Core Warrior of the Relics. So, I don't know where this game come from, but I know the Japanese and the Tokyo people be having some cool games or animations, But anyway, so the peaks and comes, and he's like, wow, this guy, yo, they're looking at me like, yo, he spoke this shit into existence. All he had to do was speak about it, but that's not the first time that happens, though. Like, that's the first time he caught it, but check out this other time, right? I tell him, everything just starts, the alarm starts, like, how do I explain phenomenons to mundane people, right? Like, you wouldn't understand. But nonetheless, so alarms start sounding because I'm around, right? And I tell them, oh, we get to leave early, right? So usually I don't smoke, right? Like when I'm at work, but it was one of those days where I was like, you know what? Let me see what it's like getting high and working. It gets very loud. Oh man, when I smoke, all of a sudden it gets loud at work. And everybody's like, just loud. Like, so prior to me smoking, it was quiet. But then I smoke and everybody gets loud. And then everybody's like, hey, everybody can leave home early now. And I'm like, oh shit, all I had to do was smoke? So then I'm like, I put this into consideration, right? Next time comes, everybody's hoping to leave early, but I don't smoke. And because I don't smoke, everybody gets hit with the, nobody's leaving home early. So I'm like, oh shit, I think I got powers. All I gotta do is smoke and we leave early. And so I'm telling this to him because I tried it and experimented, right? To see if it's in my head or if it's really me. So I smoke and there you go. We leave early again. So I'm like, oh shit. I think I'm onto something. So I tell my coworker, and he starts laughing. But I'm like, yo, watch. The next time you think they're gonna let us leave, watch. I'm not gonna do nothing, and we're gonna end up staying. Or all I gotta do is hit that one time and watch everybody be like, okay, we got half a day. I don't know what kind of power that is, but I'm predicting pizzas. Everybody at work looking at me like, what the hell? This guy's like a sorcerer. I mean, I always knew that I was, but shit just gets weird, you know? And then the alarm starts sounding like all around the building where I'm at, and, I don't believe in coincidence. And I don't know, it just felt, if you're spiritual, suddenly, like, you feel like you tapped into something, that you can't quite explain. But it's because of you. And I don't gotta prove it. I just know. But when I talk about it, at first people think I'm a little crazy. But now, like I said today, my coworker's like, no, I believe everything you say. I'm like, all right. But they're a little spooked out. So, I guess I'm gonna just try not to spook them out so much, Look what I got here. The breath of resurrection. So here, we're talking about somebody who resurrects the breath. You can summon up to 2 monsters. And you can resurrect the breath. Matter of fact, speaking of resurrecting the breath of resurrection, if you listen to my freestyle, right? The one that's called Harvest, it's all about resurrecting the breath or resurrecting the words. Because I'm talking about words that were once prevalent becoming dead and ancient. And then suddenly, it arises again. And not in those words, but more poetically put, if you want to know, just scroll to my post and see the freestyle that I did that's called Harvest. And maybe I should have called it the breath of resurrection instead of harvest, right? The trap card. I never heard of this game. Somebody at work was talking about Pokemon. No, not Pokemon. My generation, we didn't grow up on that stuff. But I always been a collector. Like, I try to be a collector. And I saw these cards. I said, man, is this valuable? Who put this here? Nah, it can't be valuable now because it got like little dents and shit. It looks old and shit. But I said, you know what? Let me grab it and see what it does. And then I showed this to the a younger cat. He was like, oh yeah, because he knows about Pokemon and stuff like that. He knew right away what this shit was. I'm like, damn. How do they know? Like, I don't even see this on TV. Where do you go to find these cartoons? They don't show them on TV and shit. Like, where the fuck they go to watch these things? But anyway, maybe if it was in better condition, You know, I could put it in one of those little things, and who knows? Look at this. Oh no, I already showed you this one. This is XYZ Universe. XYZ. And then, oh, look at this one. Punk, non-punk. She's a psychic. Turner effect. So we got a psychic there. And then we got this one called Pazuzu. Pazuzu. Yo, the Japanese, man, I'm telling you. Americans gotta get up with the cartoons, man. These got cards. These kids are growing up with cards, man. They got playing cards. Look at this one. This one's the reptilian recoil. All of them got their meaning and stuff like that. You know? Majestic absorption. You can absorb. Oh, yeah. This is another one. So we started talking, right? He's like, yo, you ever experienced an earthquake? Like, yeah, I went to California. And in California, I experienced a small earthquake for the first time. But then, I came back, right? And for the first time ever in history, I experienced an earthquake on the East Coast. Now, if you're from the East Coast, you know we never have earthquakes. I was born and raised on the East, and I never experienced that until I came from California. So he's like, what, you thought you brought it with you? I was like, yeah, I think I did. Because, see, I was telling him, when I was in you know, when I was in prison, I would meditate. And the thing about meditation, right? I told him, you become like a light or a sponge. When you meditate and you practice, you become like a sponge, and you absorb you absorb your environment, your surroundings, everything. And so what happened was I absorbed the environment of where I was at in the West Coast, and that included the earthquake that happened, that I experienced. So all of that, you know, I can't show you scientifically, but I know for sure that that's what happens. And when you absorb it, right, your surroundings, your environment, the DNA structures, the fabrics, the atoms, when you're in this state of tranquility, right, it's a part of you now. So what happens, right? You take that element out of that environment and put it into another element. Let me use my fingers so y'all can see me. Take that element that's in the West Coast and you put it to the East Coast. But that thing is carrying the elements that it absorbed from this place. Now, you can only do that if you're like a master meditator. You know, people travel all over the world, but they never absorb the environment. They just experience the environment. And there's a difference between absorbing your environment and experiencing your environment. And I did both, because if you absorb, you're experiencing. It's like you're sucking in the memories and lives of other people. It's like I could dream, right? And it could be an experience that I never lived, but someone else lived. And suddenly I'm experiencing that person's life. And, this comes from deep meditation, practicing. So, I believe I brought that shit to the East Coast. And we had, for the first time ever, an earthquake. Now, this happened over, I would say, over 2 years ago now. Because, like I said, East Coast don't have earthquakes. But then, he started talking about earthquakes, and that's when we started talking about earthquakes and stuff. Like, oh yeah, I got to experience an earthquake when I went to Cali and shit. But around this time, I was a real big sponge because, like I said, I was really deep in my meditation practices. So I was really empty. I was an empty vessel. I was an empty vessel that absorbed everything around me because that's what I did. I went over there, I emptied my cup, and I filled it up with their garbage to basically learn the culture and the lifestyle of what it was over there. And that's what I did. I emptied my cup, filled it up, and I'm talking about earthquakes, forest fires, hurricanes. Well, hurricanes more on the East Coast, but I did experience a lot. There was a lot of forest fires around when I was there. And, like I said, an earthquake. It was not even that big, but the fact that it happened around my empty vessel, that shit just went in my vessel. And so, if you're not spiritual, you're not going to understand this. And he's like, yeah, I believe you. But at first he was like, oh, so you think you brought it? I'm like, I didn't want to sound like I'm bragging and shit. But I was like, yeah, I think that's what happened. I think I brought the earthquake over. But at this point, he believe in anything I say because, like I said, I'm predicting pizzas and I'm making shit happen. Alarms is happening. We leaving early. So he's like, yo, yeah, I believe it. I'm like, yo, there's some magic going on, man. But when you do magic, a lot of it is like, you can't really explain it. It's just happen. So, when Superman discovers he got powers, right? He's a little kid. He's still not in control of it. He got super hearing, he got super sight, and then, he's a little kid. He's like, he closes his eyes, because he's hearing everything. He's like, what's going on? I can't control. Because he's still young and he doesn't know how to control the powers. I believe that's what's happening to me. I got all these things going on, but I don't know. I know it has to do with my vessel and meditation practices. And why am I telling you? I don't know. I just wanted to talk about something because you're kind of persistent on wanting to hear just random posts. Just post it. Yo, I don't gotta post nothing. I don't gotta say nothing. All I gotta do is so all I gotta do is stay strong, black and beautiful. Other than that, I don't gotta do nothing. But I still do it, because I like to promote my content, and I have a lot of material that I like to let the world know about. For instance, like my book, my second book that's about to come out. That's probably gonna be with the third book included. And then my sneakers and my music. So like I gotta get on and let you know about these things. But other than that, I don't gotta do shit. How's everybody doing? How was your holiday so far? I'm just trying to see if I get that stimulus check. You know what I mean? What's up with the $2,000 that we're supposed to be getting, right? I want to see that 2,000. And more to come. Let's see, damn. I'm not a good TikToker, right? I'll be seeing other people live and shit. They be talking and chatting to people. I don't be doing none of that shit, right? TikTok don't like me. They be always like restricting me. They always do some shit like, oh, you don't qualify. I get messages like, you don't qualify for this. You don't do, you know what I mean? Like I care. Like I wasn't trying to qualify. I just be posting any random shit that I come up with from time to time. Not thinking nothing of it. The problem is, people look at this thing and they think about money. They think about, oh, how can I make this a career? How can I make money out of just posting content, being a content creator? And they go all out. They go crazy, man. They buy the whole camera stand and lights, all types of shit. And then they do the video editing and all. Like, I don't go that far, Like, I don't take it that far. I mean, hey, to each his own. If it helps, if it works out for you. And the thing is, it might work out for like 1 or 2 people. And then it gets the rest of the people like, oh, I want to do the same. And now they're all acting like the same, like a bunch of idiots and shit. I mean, you see, the women are bored. They got tarot cards and shit, thinking that they could read people's future. And they sound the same, don't they? Every day, the same message. I'm talking to someone, and this is going to happen to you. And then the next day, the same message. I'm talking to someone. Oh, this is like, what the, you said that yesterday. Every day the same. It's like, damn. Can you like switch it up? Try to like sound original? Why don't you give some tips instead of like talking to some imaginary person? People are lost, man. People are lost. And I was just talking about this at my job, right? Co-work. Like, we're looking at architectural magazines. Like, yo, to learn this shit now, you don't even gotta know how to draw. Like, everything is a software. Like, you just gotta learn the software. Bam, draw out a plan. Now you're an architect. Fucking know the dimensions, everything. I'm like, damn. It's crazy how back in the days you had to learn how to draw, yo. Like, and then I'm talking to this guy. I'm like, yo, it's true. Like, I used to call my cousins. I used to know their number by heart. I'd be like, let me call my cousin. Get on the landline, which is like stuck on the wall, and just dial their number. I knew that shit by heart. Now, I gotta look at my phone like, hold up, what's your number again? I told this guy at work, like, yo, let me get your number, you know, because he's like a plug. And I give him my phone so he could put his number down. I already had it. I guess I told him another time, like, yo, give me your number. And fucking wrote it down. And he's like, yo, you already have my number. I was like, oh, shit. I don't be, you know, I don't be remembering all that shit. Like, so that's the cons of technology. I tell them it's like the calculator, man. We used to know how to add, subtract, multiply. Now we gotta use a calculator. And then I'm talking to him like, yo, this generation don't know how to write cursive. Cause I write cursive. They don't even teach you how to write in cursive, yo. They growing up not knowing how to write in cursive. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Like, you don't know how to write in cursive? Now, all of a sudden, I become more valuable because I know how to write in cursive. For those that know how to write in cursive, you're more valuable now. Because this generation coming up, they don't know how to write in cursive, yo. So now, suddenly, my cursive writing is beautiful. When I used to think it was sloppy. So, for instance, I go to the barbershop, right? A couple people buy my book. They're like, yo, sign my book. I'm like, cool. I write in cursive. I'm like, let me get a marker. Boom, I get the marker, and then I put to, you know, whoever, thanks for buying, you know, best wishes, all, you know, kind, nice words and stuff like that, but I write it in cursive. I should have took a picture of that shit. Because now, you know, to me, like, cursive is beautiful. Even though, like, mine's is, like, a little sloppy, but knowing the fact that these kids are not knowing how to write cursive, I'm like, oh, yeah, my cursive is beautiful. Because I could understand it, even if it's sloppy. And these kids don't know how to write cursive, so they probably don't even know how to read it. So that's a good thing, I guess. Bad for them. Me, it's good because, you know, I've always been, I like to be a little mysterious, you know. Codes to decipher, you know, encrypted. You know, I come from a generation where we didn't write the answers on the sheets. Like, if we wanted to cheat, we didn't write, you know, on a piece of paper or on a desk, you know, question 1, A, B, or C. I would write symbols. I'll be like, question 1 is like asterisk, star. That already meant to me like it was an A or a B. Teacher comes and look at my desk, sees a bunch of stars and asterisks and shit like that. They're like, the fuck is that? Like, they don't know what's going on. But that shit had the cheat code right there. I had all the answers. I'm always giving y'all too much game, man. Nothing back. Anyway, man, that's it for now. Thanks for tuning in. That's that with all of that.